Welcome to another episode of What Else You Got with Mitch and Margot. I'm Mitch, she's Margot, and I think we've got a fun one for today.
What? I thought we had a fun one last time. You're saying we've got a fun one for today?
Well, we should have one every time.
Oh, that's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, but we try to deliver. Or actually, we don't try, we do.
Ooh, that's a lot of confidence.
hmm
What you got, Mitch?
So the topic I came with was finding the right team.
Ooh, for baseball? Basketball? Hockey? What kind of team?
Well, what team do you want to talk about?
Oh, well, this is your topic. You tell me. What kind of team do you want to talk about? Are you thinking sports? Are you thinking work? Are you thinking social circles? What kind of team are you talking about?
Well, the one I'm thinking of, it can include all of those. So, uh, have you ever had a goal that you wanted to work towards, but you didn't know quite how to get there, and or you know what you're how to get there, but you don't seem to have the right resources? Well, it's one of those that I was thinking you can build the right team, and it can be whatever uh, compilation, whatever variety of people, so that you can achieve your goal, and so you can build that team to help you get towards that goal.
That makes me think of a quote that says, if you want to go far, go with a team. If you want to go fast, go by yourself.
Yep. And the funny thing is, I actually heard that quote backwards at a convention where if you want to go fast, take a team. I'm going, huh,
What?
I've always heard it the other way around. But they were also describing it differently because the way they were talking about was steal their homework.
Yeah.
And so you can go faster. But it's one of those that if you have a team, then you don't have to figure out the stuff and you can use what they've already figured out to help you get along faster.
Did they actually say steal their homework?
Well, it- when you take it out of context, it sounds bad, but in context, they said, "Yeah, take what I've done and build upon it."
Okay, that's different than stealing. There's a
Well,
difference between stealing and collaborating. There's a difference between plagiarizing and brainstorming.
it's also one of those. The way they were saying it was, here's my homework, take it." But they were saying, "Just steal my homework," and I'm going, "Okay, however you want to say it."
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the word steal, but I'm a fan of the word collaborate. There's a difference. So, yeah. I watched a show a while back. I'm trying to remember what it was called. Like Making of the Hits or something. It was a behind the scene show about hit makers, people who write the songs that become hits. And they were talking on one of the episodes about how if any of them are in on the collaboration, then they're supposed to give credit, songwriting credit to the people who were involved in the collaboration because then it's on their resume and they get a percentage of the royalties off of it. And so I thought that was a pretty cool teamwork kind of idea of if you're in on the collaboration and you're part of what makes that hit successful, then yes, you should get credit for it. And so when you, I mean, even jokingly use the word steal, I'm not a fan of that because I'm not a fan of plagiarism. I'm not a fan of violating copyright laws. I'm not a fan of any artist getting jilted on a portion of income because artists get so paid so little to begin with that and it seems in I think it seems more common that artists get jilted out of potential income than other areas of work. Can you think of an area of work where the the producer, when I say producer, I mean the creator of the content. So, like in your IT world, that would be like a coder is the creator of content, but do they get jilted out of their income? They usually get paid by the hour or salary. But artists who create images and words and music, oftentimes they get jilted out of compensation either due to copyright violations or plagiarism. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, give credit where credit's due. Fairly compensate as appropriate. And now I'm not saying if you use a little bit of someone else's thing, whether it's under fair use or not, that you have to give them half the cow. But it's one of those that if you reference someone, give them credit. If you build upon a system that they've used and you've already paid for it, you technically paid for it. So you've given them their compensation that they require. But it's one of those that built upon stuff because there's quite a few things that, as we regularly talk about, we reference books, we reference people who've given quotes. We've referenced all these people where, yeah, we're not passing $5 each time, but we're clearly referencing such and such person. Now, there is kind of like what uh, in the written world where you're talking about plagiarism, there's paraphrasing because you've taken it in, you have consumed it, you've processed it, and then you've built upon it where it then is your work. And just because I've worked a little bit in the patent world, technically, if it's 5% difference in patent worlds, it's not infringement. Because you can clearly delineate this is what I've improved upon. Yes, I reference their work, but I'm different enough where I don't have to compensate them. And so there's a couple different ways of doing it, but it really comes down to give credit where credit's due and utilize the resources that you have available to you, which kind of builds into the other parts of building the right team. But I've got a feeling that you've got a response.
Well, I love the idea of teamwork, and the most ideal team in my mind is when you've got players with different skills. Players, I mean, on the team, workers, whatever context you're in, with different skills so that you can see a bigger picture because you have people with different personalities, different perspectives, and so you're all looking at the exact same problem, but you can solve that problem faster, like you said, and more efficiently if you've got a well-structured team coming from different avenues of life, different perspectives, different personalities, different ways their brains think, different skills, and they can tackle that. And then, like you said, if one's tackling this portion of that problem, and then they hand off their homework to the next person who can then take it to the next level and they pass that off to the next person. Yes, you could go much faster when you've got a well built team that is diverse in its skills, thinking, and personalities.
And just building off of what you just said, where you're able to build upon the last thing, we don't have to go build a stick hut by ourselves. We don't have to go hunt food by ourselves. We have what everyone before us has done to the point where we have our modern economies of scale, technology, where we don't have to go hunting for our own food. We don't have to build our own house, which some people still do, but you're able to leverage the skills and expertise of others to make it more efficient, more effective for you, where you're able to go farther faster.
And what you've just described also talks about the socioeconomic differences in our country as well. If you've got generations of families that have been stuck in poverty or below poverty, it is hard for them to go further faster. When you compare them to people of a higher social economic class, they can go much higher, much faster because in what you're talking about teamwork, they don't have to build the stick hut. They're living in a mansion already. They don't have to go out and um, figure out how to create the best college application and essay to get into college because their parents went to the best universities in the country. And so those in even in thinking teamwork as far as family generations, that's where generational wealth comes from. That's where, who not what that's getting your foot in the door. And so, yes, there are huge advantages there. There are also big disadvantages for people who, as hard as they might try, it is so much harder to get out of some of those poverty levels when you're focused on just meeting your survival needs where when you're higher up on Maslow's hierarchy, pyramid of hierarchy, isn't that what it's called? Um, then the structure is already built beneath you, and so you are able to go faster.
So, what you said is very much true, and it also leads very much into the core of finding the right team. So, yes, you can have the right team built and given to you, but for those who don't have those teams, you get to figure out how to build that team. And I've been leveraging various different communities, various different books, learning resources to build out a variety of knowledge. Yes, I don't have the full team built for quite a few things I'm going towards, but I have enough knowledge where I'm able to start headed in a direction so I can find the rest of the team. Because there's quite a few things where I want to build businesses, I want to build networks, I want to improve my position. And it really comes down to I've read a ton of books. I've attended conferences. I've watched tons of YouTube. I've watched tons of training videos online. And yes, there's also the you can learn everything in the world, but if you don't apply it, it doesn't do anything. But at the same time, you need to learn where those resources are and learn how to utilize them. Because yes, there is the school of hard knocks, but that's the I'm figuring it out on my own. But if you're able to leverage someone else's learning or their degree from the school of hard knocks, you're able to take their hard learnings and be able to build upon it so you can go faster, further, or further faster and leverage what they've done. And you don't have to be a multi-trillionaire to be able to leverage it, because that's one of the nice things about written books is written books are where you can take these vast pieces of knowledge and with modern printing presses, what used to cost thousands of dollars for that little bit of knowledge, you can now go down to Barnes& and Noble, Amazon, Walmart, wherever, and pay $5 and be able to get that $1,000 education.
Well, and you don't even have to pay money. You can go to the public library. And so, to your point of accessing the knowledge and having a team in place, so like with my socioeconomic example, anybody of any socioeconomic economic status can go to the freaking public library. So really in our country, there yes, there's a lot of excuses, but if you want to climb to a different level, there are resources available. There's the public library with all that information and knowledge available to anybody who wants to walk in those doors. And there are so many resources available that if we want to better ourselves, and you're talking about putting a team together, one of the players on your team can be knowledge, can be libraries, can be resources. And so you have to, first of all, you have to decide what your goal is and then put together a team to help you achieve that goal.
Yeah, and one of the things that really skews things lately, so I'm in the mixed boat of AI just because being in IT, I know how it works, I know how it fails, I know what it can do, what it can't do, but I haven't figured out how to leverage it. As quite a few people I've come across, they can do magical things because you see all these AI videos, all these AI art, and I just look at it go, I don't know how to do that. But recently, I've been trying to figure out how to build some businesses, and yes, I could go read all the stuff, build it out myself, and figure it out. But I've been leveraging AI to skip some of that knowledge gain, which there's benefits and disadvantages to it. Benefits is you get the answer now. Disadvantage is you might not learn it to the same depth to understand the why does it work. You just see the it works, but you don't understand the why or the how.
That's valid. Yes, I I understand that AI is a great tool and it can be utilized to save so much time, but you've got a valid point of in saving the time, are we disadvantaging ourselves? Is that a word? Um, by not gaining the knowledge ourselves. I think there are so many valuable ways that we can utilize AI to do work that we already know how to do. Just letting it free up some of our time. So that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother day. We'll have to come back to the topic of AI. We love AI, just by the way, for all of the future robots that are going to take over the world. And by robots, I mean no offense. I just want to make it clear to all of the AI listening that we're friends.
All hail Skynet.
Don't hurt us. don't don't rip us to shreds, please.
But yeah, it's definitely one of those that, like you said, if you know how to do it, AI can help you get through it faster. Being in IT, one reason why I'm a split camp on why AI works and why it doesn't is I can vibe code something and I can sit there and I know it can get up to a certain point, but then I have to sit there and read everything and go, why didn't you do it right? And sometimes it takes more time. But that's also where I want to shift it to the other side, more the human side of just finding someone who has a little bit more experience. There are people who will mentor for free. There are people who will mentor uh, on some kind of exchange rate, whether that's the you mentor me on this, I'll mentor you on that, or they ask for mentoring fees or membership and a couple things. But there's different ways that you can find people who have the knowledge and experience. That's the key thing that you want and need, and they can show you ways to get closer to it. But one reason why that they're the expert on it is because they've spent the time to understand the how, the what, the why, and you're just trying to leverage their knowledge where you don't have to spend the 10,000 hours to figure out the how, the what, why, and you're able to leverage it to help build your position for the things that you don't have to know today.
But frankly, circling back to your word steal, don't try to steal a mentor's time. I believe in mentoring. I have mentored a ton of people, but I'll tell you what, I I have always appreciated when someone has called me, emailed, texted, whatever, and said, "Hey, could I treat you to lunch and ask you a few questions about A, B, and C?" And so I highly value someone who's at least willing to treat me to lunch for my time. And people, when people have reached out and asked me to do A, B, and C for free, sometimes I do it just because I want to give back. But I tell you what, if you want to get off on the right foot with somebody that you want to learn from and hopefully have a mentor, be mentored by them, then start by identifying that you respect their time by offering to compensate them in some form for their time. Don't just expect them to give it to you for free. Don't try to steal their time and their knowledge. At least offer to take them out for a cup of coffee or a lunch or something.
Yeah, there's a bunch of different things that, as long as it's a beneficial to both parties, that's where mentorships really thrive. Because some
Wait, but
mentors,
how is the relationship beneficial to the mentor?
that's actually what I was about to dive into it. And so there's a bunch of different angles. Some mentors, like you just said, they do it just because they want to give back, and so their benefit is the I gave back. There's some benefits of you might be seeking a mentor and you might have product or something that they're interested in and you're able to give it where it's basically no cost to you and no expense to you, but you're providing value to them. But it really comes down to, is there some kind of value exchange? Because like you said, you don't want to get it just for free. You want to have them be edified by it, and by you having them be edified, they're willing to either A, continue, B, recommend you, or C, provide some recommendation towards you. And so, because if you just do it where you just take, they're not going to give you any of that. They'll give you the minimum amount of information you want, or they might turn around and take their payment off of a recommendation that you could have gotten.
So why do you think someone would want to be a mentor instead of a consultant? Because if you think about it, mentors and consultants are similar, but can you tell me the difference between a mentor and a consultant?
Yeah, since you bring it up that way, consultants, the way I see it is they're have clearly defined boundaries. So like I think IT consultant. You want to have me set up XYZ. You want me to advise on XYZ, and you want me to do it for a time of A and B. And as soon as that time limit expires, either you need to pay me more, or you need to redefine the terms of the agreement. As a mentor, generally, it's a disproportionate exchange of value because the mentor is willing to give more than the value they get back, and it's not limited to just one um, industry, one topic, because they're able to expand to help build the person and not so much building the business or the effort.
Well, I asked our friend. Google says mentors focus on long term personal and professional growth through guidance and shared experience, while consultants provide specialized expertise to solve specific short term business problems. Mentors offer wisdom to help navigate solutions, whereas consultants analyze, recommend, and implement actionable solutions to improve performance. So I like how, because you said something about mentors focusing on the human relationship, and that's what it says here too, is mentors focus on the long-term personal and professional growth through guidance and shared experience. So I'm a big believer in respecting people's time. I'm a big believer in seeking out mentors and advisors, because if somebody's already done what it is you want to do, you don't need to reinvent the process. They've already figured out the process. So yes, seek out a team member who can be serve as a mentor or a consultant, your choice, but respect their time. And if it's a mentor who is willing to mentor you at, no significant cost to you, then respect their time. Go into the conversations prepared, and and approach it professionally so that you can learn from them.
Yeah. So circling back kind of to the AI side of things, well, not so much AI, but finding the right tool, because finding the right tool to do the job can make a huge difference. And one of the examples that I thought of is you're trying to build something, and you've got a screwdriver, and you need to screw in 1,000 screws. That's going to take quite a while. But if you had a drill or an impact driver, that 1,000 screws just quickly disappeared into a very minuscule amount of time versus twisting, constantly trying to get a bunch of screws in versus a whoop, whoop. And it's a big difference where, yes, you can screw in 1,000 screws, but if you have the right tool, that 1,000 screws, instead of becoming a headache, it becomes a opportunity. And on top of that, sometimes as you're screwing in those 1,000 screws, whether by hand or with an impact driver, you go, there's got to be a better way. And you're able to build another tool that someone else can utilize. But it really comes down to, if you have the right tool, the job gets a lot smaller very quickly. And so I referenced AI, where yes, you need to come up with all these plans. AI is great for bouncing ideas off of and can help you get to an idea pretty quickly versus you spending hours trying to figure out how to do it yourself. And so if you have the right tool for the right job, you're able to do quite a bit. Because another example is you need to dig a hole. You can do it by hand with a shovel, or you could do it by hand, or with a shovel, with a trencher, an excavator, or a massive earth mover that can take one scoop and you have your hole. And it really comes down to, I think the underlying thing is, at what point does the cost, or does saving $1 cost you more time, or are you willing to spend $1 to save a bunch of time?
Yep. Yep. That comes down to the basic question of, do you have more time or do you have more money? You need to decide where that tipping point is. Is your time more valuable, or is your money, where is that, so you know how to best invest both your time and your money. So, yes, the ideal teams, the ideal tools, these all make for improved systems.
Yeah, and it really does come down to whatever scenario someone's trying to solve, there is most likely a book on how to do it. There's a person who can help you do it. There may be a tool that can help you do it, or there may be just pure inspiration on how to do it. And it really just comes down to what team have you assembled to try to uh, accomplish whatever objective you have to get to. Because 90% of scenarios that are available, someone has a solution in one form or another. The extra 10% is what you get to figure out on how to do it. But by leveraging the expertise and tools of others, you can make that 10% very easily where you're able to then share it with others.
That's awesome. This was a great topic. What else you got, Mitch?
I think that's it for this one. You got anything
Okay.
else?
I think everybody should click those buttons on the side, leave a comment. What kind of team have you formed recently that you're proud of or that you're embarrassed of? Leave us a comment, and we'll catch you on the next episode of What Else You Got with Mitch and Margot.